I want to play a game. What back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It's another movie review. We're looking at Saw 10. We've already quite a lot of Saw reviews to the channel. I think we've stopped at 4, so there's quite a lot to review. We've literally just skipped from 5 to 10, but that doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. But what did I think of Saw 10? Well, I think Saw 10 was good in parts, but in parts, it kind of completely undermined the rest of the franchise. Was it great seeing Jigsaw, Tobin Bell? Absolutely. Yeah, I thought Amanda played her part well. I even thought the post credit scene with Hoffman was good, right? But I just think this gimmick of trying to portray Jigsaw as this like good guy, it doesn't work. All right, but let's get into the movie, shall we? So, John, it's not good. Not looking good for him, of course. He's got the cancer. He's going to these support groups, but then he hears from Big Henry Kessler when he was getting coffee one day that there was this clinic trial going on. It's over in Scandinavia, but the woman Cecilia is actually operating out of Mexico. Mexico. So how is that going to go down? I'll tell you how that's going to go down. John then flies into Mexico. He's in this like hospital as well, where he sees this like orderly guy walking around. I thought we were maybe going to get like a flashback to Sep or something, but no, we're not getting Sep. Hello, Sep. But essentially, what we get here is like an imaginary trap where it's like, yeah, I could kill him for stealing that watch, but then he puts the watch back. He's like, good choice. The eye trap, pretty brutal. The guy's eyeballs getting sucked out. So this trap didn't really happen. It was pretty much what happened. But John, he gets the surgery. We're introduced to pretty much all the characters, all the doctors, so to speak. You've got Mateo, Diego, you've got Valentina, Gabriela, and Cecilia. So essentially, they're all in on it, but it turns out that Cecilia is like the only real bad person. Now, before John actually went in for surgery, we did meet Parker Sears, who got throat cancer removed, but John finds out that it turns out nothing actually got removed, and he's been heartbroken, he's been betrayed, and he's going to make sure that he punishes all these guys. So he essentially goes after Diego first, who's got two pipe bombs attached to his arms. I mean, it's a pretty brutal trap, but Diego actually comes through. But I don't get this. If Diego doesn't come through this trap, John never gets the information he needs, which I just think is baffling. And John's logic was that these traps are never personal. It's always about like, finding the will to live. Well, no, this trap was personal, John, because without this guy's information, then you'd have been snookered. All right, you would have been absolutely snookered. But this guy gives up the information. We then get like a montage, Peghead, whatever, getting Celia captured. You're getting Valentina captured, Gabriela captured, Mateo captured, Diego captured. There's a lot of people getting captured, and pretty dramatic reveal when it actually shows you that Amanda is back. But we knew from the trailers that Amanda was back. All right, reel it in, reel it in. What I think this is where I honestly think when the movie decided to go towards the traps is where it went downhill. Like like there's this big open space. You've got each person tied up, right? Amanda and John are explained in the games. John played a bit of football with this kid. He's like, pull, pull, pull. A Spanish, Mexican kid, sorry, not Mexican, Spanish, you know what I mean? So yeah, John, how will that relationship come back to bite him in the arse? I'm not too sure. So essentially, that's what happens. Big John then let the games begin. First up is none other than Valentina. Essentially, she has to cut her leg off with this like bone saw. Fuck me, this would hurt. Right, this would absolutely it's a lot of leg. And then not only does she have to cut her leg off, she has to extract enough bone marrow out the leg to like tip the scales to free the thing around her neck that's going to cut her head off. She can't do it in time. She actually does cut the leg off. She does start sucking away at the bone marrow. This is such an unfair fucking trap, man. It really, really is. Alright, John, fucking reel it in, son. Incredibly unfair. Then Cecilia is like, right, while Amanda and John are out doing whatever they're doing, we need to free ourselves here. Decides to cut open Valentina's stomach, rips out her intestines, uses it as a rope to try and get out of there, but then Amanda comes down and sorts her out. So it's like, Jesus Christ, man. We're using our intestines as a rope That's pretty mental. But I think it was quite apparent that this scene, that this Cecilia person was just an evil cunt, and we'll get to it a wee bit later on. But yeah, I think next up was Mateo, where he had to extract a bit of his brain, and it's like, okay, is he going to be able to do that? I'm not too sure. He gets a bit of it out, but he actually ends just get killed. I thought it was actually quite a poor trap. Like the trap itself is alright, but it's like the way it kills him just was a bit boring, wasn't it? I like the fact that Billy, the return of Billy the puppet, he cycled in, quite iconic, of course. Can't complain too much with that. But Mateo's dead, so far we're 2 for 2 in the traps. They're dead, but then Parker Sears is looking for retribution. And I'm thinking at this point, he's probably found out as well that the surgery was a load of shit, and now he's ready to fucking take the smack down, lay the smacker down. Also, when they're pointing out about John, she was like, "Here, John, don't take your bandages off. They self clean themselves. Obviously, they don't want to take them off because over feel we didn't actually do any fucking surgery, which again is fucking stupid. They could have cut his head open a wee bit and then like sewed it up to make it look like they did, but they didn't even bother doing that. Not a chance, not at all. Alright, that's no the way it went down. But up next, I believe, in the traps, who was up next? At this point, we're 2 in, 2 dead. It's Gabriella. Radiation, chemotherapy. This is pretty much brutal. In order to free herself, she has to break like her arm, then her leg, then she hits the mat. She's burnt, and John's like, we gotta get her to a hospital. But it's at this point when Parker Sears, who we thought was a good guy, but, you know, he turns out he's not a good guy. He's actually working with Cecilia the entire time. So Parker Sears gets his gun, and what does he do? He holds John and Amanda at gun point. Cecilia is like, John, you're going to die. Turns out Cecilia and Parker Sears are lovers. So stands on the neck of Gabriella. She's dead. Escaped her trap, gets her neck snapped. And it's like, this is where the movie flipped, and it tried to portray like Parker Sears and Cecilia as these two like evil cunts. And they were. But let's not pretend that John's this upstanding member of the fucking community. He's nowhere near. What Cecilia's doing's evil, and yeah, what she's doing's evil, and she also just killed Gabriella here, snapped her neck. But I just thought it was cringe. You know, I just thought it was absolute cringe the way they were trying to portray Cecilia. It's like, John, reel it in, man. You don't really have anything to stand here, so. But then they don't really know what they're going to do. They're like, we're going to take our money, we're going to put you two in the trap. But then they hear like a football getting booted against like a garage door. It's the kid that John helped earlier. And then what do? They put John and this kid in this trap where 2 of them are like getting covered in pig blood. But you've got this lever that determines who gets like drowned the most. But obviously John's like sacrificed himself here for the kid. But the kid is like actually trying to help John survive as well, which is pretty mental. But then Parker and Cecilia are like, well, fuck this. One of them's eventually going to die. Amanda's sitting there not knowing what to do. They go in to get the bag of money that they've took for all these people. And then as soon as they hit that, the final trap activates, and Cecilia and Parker Sears get trapped in a room. This was ridiculous, alright? Because John's survival, along with the kid, even though they didn't really plan for the kid to be in this trap, comes down to these two being in this room at the same time, getting the bag at the same time. I get it. Saw's always had this gimmick, right? Where it's like the final trap and the music plays. Let the music play. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. You know, that tune. So obviously John and the kid get free. But then the room is being filled with like chemical gas where there is only one place to hang your head out between Cecilia and Parker. So now actually they both could have lived here if they just both took turns putting their head out. But Cecilia ends up killing Parker. She puts her head out. John, Amanda, and Cecilia, well, John, Amanda, and the kid, escape. And that's it. Like, that's the end of the movie. Like, is Cecilia dead? Is Cecilia alive? Like, this evil bitch actually gets to survive all this. Like, I think if she actually gets... I think if she got killed brutally in a trap, it would have made this ending so much better. But then, we get the post-credit scene, where we get Hoffman. He's like, well, the men that cheat. You picked John Kramer. And it turns out, who we're referring to It's Henley Kessler, and not only is it Henley Kessler, he's in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom here with Jigsaw and Hoffman. A really badass post credit scene. But I do think once the trap started, the movie went downhill, which is utterly bizarre to actually say about a Saw film. That's just my personal opinion. People can disagree with that, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It was alright, but I don't like the way it portrayed John as this like great fucking guy. I thought that was incredibly stupid, but I liked the first half of the movie, and I really liked the post credit scene. I do think the final half was a bit ridiculous, if that's a word to describe it.